We begin live at 5 with disturbing new details in the case of a local man police say posed as an Uber driver and sexually assaulted an underage girl.
This is a story we've been tracking since February. Francis Scott was back in court today. He's now facing charges in connection with other cases of alleged sexual assault. Eyewitness News reporter Steph Machado is live in Providence with new details from the mobile newsroom.
Francis Scott was charged with 2 more counts of second-degree sexual assault today. That brings his total number of known alleged victims to 4, and police believe there are more victims out there. Francis Scott charged with sexually assaulting 4 women, including minors, some of them in his car.
What we would call a serial rapist.
Scott was first charged with sexually assaulting a 15-year-old back in February. She told police she was walking to Providence Career and Technical Academy on Elmwood Avenue when Scott pulled over and offered to give her a ride, pretending to be an Uber driver, then allegedly sexually assaulting her in the car. Police say another victim with a similar story came forward after that, and then 2 more. They saw his photo on the news.
He asked her for oral sex in favor for the weed.
Police say these 2 new victims had connected with him on Facebook, where he goes by the name Self-Made and allegedly sells marijuana. In a police report we obtained, one of the 15-year-old victims tells police he gave her a ride somewhere, then, quote, stated that he wanted a sexual favor for driving her around all night. When she refused and tried to call 911, police say he sexually assaulted her in a lot on Spooner Street.
We believe there are more victims out there.
Major LePayne is urging anyone else who may have been assaulted by Francis Scott, also known as Self-Made, to come forward.
Any victims, please give us a call and, let us help you.
Now today, Scott waived his right to a bail hearing on those first 2 sexual assault charges, so he's being held without bail for at least 90 days until his next court date. He was also arraigned on the 2 new sexual assault charges today. Now, coming up new at 6, what we know about Francis Scott so far and where he was working at the time of these alleged assaults. Live in Providence with the Mobile Newsroom, I'm Steph Machado, Eyewitness News.
First at 6, we're learning more about the work history of a Woonsocket man now accused of sexual assault by 4 people.
And as we reported live at 5, Francis Scott was in court this morning after police tell us 2 more alleged victims came forward. We first reported on his arrest back in February when police accused him of kidnapping and sexually assaulting a teenage girl by posing as an Uber driver.
Eyewitness News reporter Steph Machado joins us live from the Providence Mobile Newsroom with the new details at 6. Steph?
Police are calling Francis Scott a serial rapist. He's now up to 4 alleged victims, and police believe there are more.
Each of these cases.
Francis Scott charged with 2 new counts of second-degree sexual assault after 2 alleged victims say they recognized his photo on the news and came forward. This after police charged him with 2 other sexual assaults in February. The first one, a 15-year-old girl trying to get to school. She says she accepted a ride from Scott, who was pretending to be an Uber driver. But instead of taking her there, police say he sexually assaulted her in the car.
We had suspected that Mr. Scott was what we would call a serial rapist.
The 2 new victims told police they met Scott on Facebook, where he goes by the nickname Self-Made, bought marijuana, and accepted rides from him. Then he allegedly sexually assaulted them also in his car. One was just 15 years old.
We believe there are more victims out there.
Francis Scott's criminal record in Rhode Island doesn't show any history of violence or sex crimes until this string of 4. He was recently employed as a part-time usher at the Dunkin' Donuts Center, helping fans get to their seats. The general manager tells Eyewitness News he was suspended immediately after the first arrest. And police again believe there are more victims in this case. Police say if you recognize Scott and believe that you are a victim, you should contact Providence Police. He will be behind bars at least until his next court date in May. Live in Providence with the Mobile Newsroom, I'm Steph Machado, Eyewitness News.